The Indian military may soon buy additional S400 air defense systems after dominating the recent India-Pakistan war. Following its sensational performance, Russian Ambassador to India Denis Alipov has confirmed talks between New Delhi and Moscow for the purchase of additional S400 air defense systems, and that the talks are ongoing. Now, this after sensational reports reveal that Indian S400 set a new world record by shooting down a Pakistani Air Force AWACS aircraft at a distance of 314 kilometers. This is a new world record for any surface-to-air missile system in combat. Meanwhile, Pakistani propaganda over destroying an Indian S400 has been fact-checked by users on platform X. It was shown how Pakistani handles are using old, cropped footage to claim that an S400 was destroyed. It once again shows how Pakistani government and social media handles have been spreading fake propaganda after the embarrassing hammering by Indian Air Force and the Indian Army. S400 emerged victorious in the India-Pakistan war, preventing any Pakistani strikes like the ones conducted by India on 11 Pakistani air bases. In fact, no Pakistani fighter jet even came close to the Indian border for the fear of being shot down. Using its advanced radar and missile technology, the system effectively tracked and destroyed several enemy projectiles, including several long-range missiles, nullifying Pakistan's efforts to cause any damage. This phenomenal range and precision have greatly boosted India's air defense capabilities, safeguarding strategic assets and military infrastructure during recent military operations. The S-400's impeccable performance ensures Indian military strategists that the nation's growing deterrence against rivals remains unshakable. Speaking to news agency IANS, Russian Ambassador Alipov termed the performance of S-400 system and the India-Russia co-developed BrahMos cruise missiles in Operation Sindoor as exemplary. Alipov stated, quote, "Based on what we know, India precisely identified the targets and terror bases prior to conducting the operation. The S-400 system and the BrahMos missiles were actively used, and based on available reports, their operation was flawless." Unquote.
India again launched missile attacks BrahMos.
बेस के ऊपर 4 सरफेस टू सरफेस BrahMos मिसाइल आए.
However, the deliveries of the final 2 batteries of the S-400 are still pending, with Russia now assuring deliveries by 2026. Meanwhile, reports suggest that the Indian Army has again deployed the S-400 near the Siliguri Corridor amid growing tensions with Bangladesh, and Yunus inviting China to modernize an airbase near the Chicken's Neck. But this commendation by the Russian ambassador reflects the extent of India-Russia defense cooperation, which has gone much beyond basic buyer-seller relationship. India and Russia's relationship is decades old, with collaborative research, development, and production of cutting-edge defense technologies. It encompasses licensed production of the T-90 tanks and Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets, supply of MiG-29 jets, as well as Kamov helicopters, INS Vikramaditya aircraft carrier for the Indian Navy, and of course, BrahMos missile production. Now, this strategic alliance continues to advance India's military modernization. Russia still remains India's biggest defense partner, ahead of the likes of France and the United States of America. Going deeper in defense relationship, India has inked a $248 million deal with Russia's Rosboron export to buy more powerful engines for its T-72 tank fleet. Now, the T-72 is the workhorse of Indian Army armored strength since 1970s. India now operates around 2,500 units that have 780 horsepower engines. To keep them relevant for modern warfare, a new, more powerful 1,000 horsepower engine will be installed to improve battlefield mobility and offensive prowess. The agreement also has a technology transfer, with Indian state-run Armoured Vehicles Nigam Limited being permitted to manufacture these engines locally under license. The step adds strength to India's attempts to promote indigenous defense production while not departing from its vital relationship with Russia, traditionally its premier arms supplier. But with Russia's resources, meanwhile, being diverted by the Ukrainian conflict, India is broadening its base of suppliers to include the West as well. On the diplomatic side, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is expected to visit India in a month ahead of President Vladimir Putin's highly anticipated visit later this year. Now, this will be Putin's first visit to India since the Russia-Ukraine war broke out in February 2022. The summit offers a chance to look at defense as well as security ties, energy security, as well as economic relations. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirmed India's invitation to Putin in the recent talks after the Pahalgam terror attack. Putin supported India's uncompromising battle against terror and underscored the need to bring perpetrators and their masters to justice. India-Russia bilateral trade reached $66 billion in 2024, which is a new record. However, the mission is to increase it to a $100 billion mark by the year 2030, as well as promote mutual energy security. The two countries are examining avenues for settling bilateral trade using national currencies, which could minimize the dependence on the US dollar during global economic uncertainty. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi made two visits to Russia last year, one for the bilateral summit and then for the BRICS meet. Putin's visit, which is scheduled, will be an important indication of Russia's unabated engagement with India, even as it remains locked in conflict with Ukraine. The annual India-Russia summit continues to be the highest institutionalized dialogue platform between the two nations, an indication of how much both countries value the relationship. India's effective use of the S400 system in neutralizing cross-border missile threats is a huge step forward in the country's defense capabilities. The continued cooperation with Russia in military technology and strategic discussions is set to further consolidate this advantage. As diplomatic and economic relations deepen, the India-Russia relationship remains a mainstay of regional security and stability. But what do you believe? Has Russia proven itself to be a time-tested ally of India? India's Defence Acquisition Council is set to approve the acquisition of 6 Netra Mark 1A AWACS aircraft in a huge 9,000 crore rupee contract. Netra Mark 1A AEW&C aircraft is designed to modernize the Indian Air Force's windows or eyes in the sky. The enhanced platform to be constructed on Embraer ERJ-145 airframes imported abroad. It will be equipped with DRDO's Center for Airborne Systems or CABS with state-of-the-art Indian ASAR radars with 240-degree coverage and a whopping 450 kilometers detection range. This is a significant jump from the existing Mark 1's 200-kilometer range, which will allow IAF to target low-flying jets, unmanned aerial vehicles, and cruise missiles with accuracy. Advanced electronic warfare systems and better mission systems will increase the IAF's airborne surveillance capabilities by threefold. India's DRDO is in the process of developing a gun-launched anti-tank guided missile for the 105mm cannon for the Indian-made Zorawar light tank to enhance its high-altitude firing capability. Co-developed with Larsen & Toubro, the Zorawar is built for rapid, swift firepower in mountainous regions such as Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. The tank will soon boast of a new Indian-manufactured high-pressure gun instead of the Belgian gun in previous prototypes. The GLA TGM will enable Zorawar to fire at enemy tanks and bunkers from ranges of 4 to 5 kilometers, firing using laser or infrared guidance and heavy tandem heat warhead to penetrate modern armor, including explosive reactive armors. Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.